morning blessings. Thank you, God Squad. Thank you for showing up in our day. Thank you for bringing forward all of these gifts. Thank you for all the miracles, including this one. Come here. There's a little miracle right there. Yes. Boy. Welcome. Welcome. Welcome to the sanctuary, to the tiny Nomi home, to the place where all things are in harmony, where nature is connected with, where so many blessings arise, where my heart feels centered and grounded. Let me share more with you today. Come on with us. I just love the way the sun comes in on the window and on the sheets. Such a simple thing. I love the way my tiny home feels and how I feel supported in it. I love walking around and being so grateful for things. I love this little man who is the cutest dog in the whole world. I love my hummingbird feeder. I love how good it feels to sit right here in my window and look out and see the reflections. I love when the deer show up and the critters. I love how beautifully they come to the window. I love all of it. This is where I come and I do my grounding and my morning meditation with the birds and the squirrels. This is also where I like to swing and sit and harmonize. And I do this to connect and ground. It's so important, and we're going to talk about that today. It's chilly, but it's beautiful. And the birds and the squirrels love when we're out here. They love coming and connecting in this way. This is where if I get quiet and still, they'll come and they'll eat out of my hand, which I adore. So this is connecting in nature in such a simple way. Sitting on your lawn, taking a blanket out somewhere, and just being able to be in nature is so important to get all of the integration in this vessel that's constantly shifting. So we're going to talk about that today. I hope you stay with us, because we're going to have fun. All of the beauty, all of the ability to connect to nature, always right here, just waiting for us to unplug, to unwind, and to really tap in to what's amazingly showing up for us. Here in the PNW, the colors of the leaves are changing. Fall is upon us. Good morning. And the critters delight when we come outside and engage with them. They get so excited to know that something hears them. Not just the way we've always imagined. Such a different way to connect when we get out of the way to connect. And nature always knows what we need. We think we have to ask for it. We think we have to plan with it. We think we have to understand it. There's nothing here to understand. There's nothing here to have to know. There's nothing here to have to shift. Right, Milo? Nature has this figured out. It is already established for us. Right? It's just tuning into the connection of it. That which has always been right here. It's been afforded to us. It's a gift that's always available to us when we're willing to tap into it and take the time to do so. What TV show did you put in your body today? What food and nutrients did you gobble up? It's important to ask, is this serving me? Is this serving me? Is this moment connecting me closer to God? There I am, being that, said Guru Milo. And within this, nature just rises to the occasion. It's always interested in sharing us new ways of understanding. Look at this fella, just exploring his whole world right there. And the wonders of it all are just so delicate and yet so absolutely detailed. The way the sun peeks through the trees, the way the trees lean into it, the leaves, these crisp leaves at my feet, which are chilly today, follows upon us. But listen to this beauty, this orchestra. How can it be perceived as anything but magic? The wonder of it all for you. Right here and right now, all for you. Gosh, when we forget the majesty of what we are, we forget to tap into this. And yet everything we need to heal is right here in this moment. The way the sun's streaking on that tree and the ferns, this plush greenery that's shifting to yellows and reds, allowing all the dead leaves to fall. Just letting it go without any attachment, without any intent. Just trusting the process of lifing perfectly. Gosh, it's delicious. It's absolutely delicious. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're tuning in from. Welcome. And for those of you who are regular followers, it's good to connect with all of you again. And as per usual with the story of Kelly, there appears to be these showing ups and then disappearing. So I want to talk about that and some of the things that are changing that are causing some of that. And also talk a little bit about integration today. It's a hot topic. Seems to be many of the clients that I'm doing one-on-one work are talking about it. So I thought it was important to bring it forward today. I have been writing about this, and as most of you do know, we have a Nurture Your Soul Facebook page, but there's so many on YouTube who do not do Facebook, which I totally get and understand. And finally, YouTube is caught up with a community tab, which is fabulous. So what we're doing now is we're offering the same writings on that community tab on YouTube so that all of the audience has access to the sharings and can collaborate in ways that are meaningful from wherever you're tuning in from. So hopefully that helps a little bit. I certainly welcome hearing suggestions and tips and ideas of things that you would like me to cover, with the intention of, once again, showing up and trying to be a little bit more connected in a way, even when I disappear into my cocoon. And I'm going to talk about that through the integration and why that happens and why I support it and continue to allow it when it arises and encourage you to do the same. So let's step back a little bit. Some of the recent sharings have been about the swirly energies and all that's going on in our world that may be causing us to feel the need for an integration and what that looks like and what that means. So as you all know, I often refer to us as avatars, robots, meat suit, zoot suit, so many different variations that come out of the story of Kelly here. And that's intended. And that's intended for a reason, not just to be funny or silly or unique. It's relating to how I now experience this that I used to once feel so strongly was the only thing, this me. Prior to my near-death experience in 2008, this felt like it was the doer. It was making the decisions. It was making incorrect choices. It was harming people. It was bringing joy to people. All of these stories are perfect. But what was seen through in my near-death experience and has continued to be integrated upon since 2008 is a deeper knowingness or an experiential realization that this is on autopilot, this thing, this Kelly story. And the thing that's noticing all of it, we call it the self or the witness or source, God, however you want to refer to it, is never separate from this energy. There's never a moment, not even a fragment of a moment, where God isn't sitting right here. For I am that. And there I am being that or appearing to be that. And that's what is really a precursor, if you will, for lack of a better word, to the unraveling that begins. And that's not something that we do. It just appears at the right time, in the right way, in the right environment, with the right apparent others. I refer to them often as aspects or avatars. We seem to think that we are manipulating and controlling and somehow making decisions, and we're the puppet master and we've got the strings and we're doing this to our avatar. But the reality is that's so far from the truth. And that part is where suffering comes in. I can make a wrong choice. I can turn the wrong way. I can harm someone. I can create such a disharmony. I can create horrific karma for myself. There's so many paths that the story can begin to storify. And it's a really slippery slope. So if you haven't watched previous videos to this, there's so many on this channel that will go deeper into that. We're not doing that today. Today, I really want to talk about the integration of the software that the avatar is receiving right now, and why this is such a critical thing to look at and notice. I describe what happens in sleep time, or what we've referred to as sleep time, as the pivotal time where the conscious and unconscious seems to disconnect. So cute. The disconnection is such a creative hour or amount of hours. Whether you're meditating, sitting in stillness, or you're in what we call sleep time, it is truly the time where the avatar's system or computer is receiving downloads, just like your iPhone. So I'll use that as the analogy today. Your laptop or your iPhone, this thing that you plug into the wall and you roll over and you go to sleep and you think it's doing its stuff. And that it is. No doubt about it. You wake up, it says put your password in, restart it, whatever it needs you to do to integrate what has happened during that time. It's no different for this avatar, for this zoot suit, for this meat suit, for this story of Kelly. The plug goes in, the body goes to sleep, and the downloads happen. And then it appears to wake up in a newfound, new place, new environment, new experiences, all wondrous, and yet appearing to the other as just another day, just another experience, just another opportunity to notice God's wonders. Yet throughout that day, those upgrades may be realized in various ways. Perhaps synchronicities that weren't noticed the day before. Maybe they're numerical. Maybe they're just spontaneous arrivals of people we've been thinking about, or that phone call comes that we've been thinking we should make. It all just arises when we're ready to notice that. When the doer gets out of the way, the unfoldings are just spontaneously arising in the flow of life. It's gorgeous. And why is this so? Because you are the path. You are it. You are the path. You heard me. You can't get this wrong. You are it. It is you. The unfolding, the way that it arises, the way that it presents itself, as long as that's allowed and not attached to, like everything, it flows in and it flows out. Like waves. Everything comes and goes in waves. Anything uncomfortable will pass. Anything beautiful will pass. Anything loving will pass. Anything desired will pass. Anything resisted will pass. Anything disrupting will pass. We look to it and we say, these are the goodies. I want to keep those. These are the horrible things. I want them to go away. And yet the reality is this is all unfolding perfectly. In this game of duality, that which arises will fall away. And its dualistic component will come right behind it. So if I'm enmeshed in a beautiful moment of love, as long as I don't attach to that and I just enjoy it so deliciously in the moment, it too will let go without any suffering. And as duality shows us time and time again, that which is its opposite will also arise. And I'm going to talk about how that appears here in the story of Kelly now, so differently than it used to. And I don't share this because it's something for you to seek or grasp. That's not the intention at all. This sharing is just an opportunity perhaps to question the way that your avatar appears to be receiving and reacting and responding to those downloads. Nothing more. There's nothing to do here. There's not a teaching here. As I've said from my very early videos, and I will repeat yet again, I'm not a teacher. I'm not a master. I'm not a guru. I'm just sharing what's arising here spontaneously, which will shift. This too shall change. The knowingness or the deepening of this will shift. It will continue because this doesn't stop. This doesn't end. There's no flatness about this. There's no rigidity about this. All of those too are part of the story. This is so painful that I need it to go. The breathing into that and allowing of that is what allows it to go. Not this resistance to it saying, I need you to leave. Because that which is arising is here showing us exactly what's being believed in this moment. Let it come, let it go. Let it come, let it go. So resuming. The download occurs, the sleeping happens, the avatar goes into rest state. It appears that the plug in the toaster connecting to source, connecting to God, connecting to allness is now tapped into and fully realized. Yet, this is completely unconscious of it going on. So the download's emitting, the download's coming in, the download's being received. The avatar wakes up and begins to move about the day. Yet, the greens feel greener. The flavors more flavorful. The heart more open. Perhaps more closed. Perhaps the hues are more gray. Perhaps the space feels more empty. The dynamic doesn't matter. It's the witness of it that matters. And that's where the focus is, the pivotal place. To resume noticing how this integration takes place. So for me here in the story of Kelly, what's happening now is real-time realization of this dualistic bubble. If love is here, I don't grasp it. There's no grasping going on anymore. There's just enjoying the moment so beautifully, going into it so deeply and saying, thank you for this. If I'm nestling and loving on someone and hugging them and they're holding me and I'm holding them, and the deliciousness of their smells and their touches and their skin, all of that's being received. And anything that tries to arise that says, I want this moment to last forever, is also received. And as the moment ends and the moment leaves or appears to leave, the fear of that or the sadness of that is also received. Because with the love, the absence must come by virtue of duality. You can try to argue with all of this. This isn't here to harm us. We're here to learn how to engage in this playground so that it's less suffering and more of those opportunities. And what happens with this integration of allowance, acceptance, and isness is more of that which feels so beautiful and delicious is allowed to flow in, because we're not blocked by attachments and desires and preferences that we seem to be clinging to. None of that is wrong. It's arising and then it's not. It's being less interested in making what is into something that it is not in this moment. And as we breathe through each of those, not just the loving stuff, not just the upsetting stuff, but all of it, the integration just does itself and more of that can arise. So in the story of Kelly, the movements and the beautification of each moment being experienced is just met with thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I find myself walking around, and that seems to be all that's emitting from this vessel now, is just thank you. Even if it feels like pain in the moment, thank you. That was living inside of this, apparently. Come up, little one. Come up. You too are welcome. And as that comes up and lets go by duality, that which is behind it is just this permeating love that is boundless. It's always here. We leave it, it doesn't leave us. It is an energy, it is not a thing. It is not something to seek. It's not something to attempt to find. It's an unfolding or an unraveling, an opportunity to notice where resistance or attachment is happening, and honoring and loving even those things. We've been conditioned to believe, to always reach for the goodness. And who taught you? Who taught us that the goodness is not in all? Yes, there are followers who will say to me, your life must be easy. Your life must be less suffering than mine. But if you know my story, if you know what brought me to this apparent moment, this apparent ability to share this way, it's a continual blend of both the goodness and its opposing opposite or dualistic opposite. Certainly I could sit here and name off all of the suffering that's appeared to happen in the story of Kelly, but that serves no one. It serves no one. Now, does this mean that there's just this avatar walking around smiling and giggling and laughing all the time? Not at all. That's just a story perhaps you've created about this. If you look at all my videos, not just the ones that seem to be calling to happiness, you'll see there are so many shared about allowing the diving deeply into the deep rest, or the anxious stuff, or the disconnected feelings, or the moments of despair. There are still those. That is part of the dualistic experience in this dreamscape. But the less this clings to that, it beautifully lets go. So in the integration, if there is sadness here, this will be loved. This will be taken somewhere, even if it's balled into the bed, curled up like a baby, tears bawling, sounds emitting. That too is loved. And in that, there's this blend of experience of just knowing I'm held. She's held. This little 3-year-old is held and loved and guided to the next beauty that's on the path that I am. It really is gorgeous. Integration, deepening, moving further into the knowingness experientially is doing itself. It's on autopilot. The software downgrades, the upgrades, whatever you want to refer to them as, also are automatically doing themselves. It is the most well thought out, well laid out plan, and you are part of it. It's not written for you. It's written by you. It's a collaboration of creativity that Source, which you are, is allowing to unfold. We were never intended to stay stuck in any of the dualistic components. We were never meant to push them away and only grasp for that which feels good. But it's okay when that arises too. And as it falls away and the integration continues, that too shall be upgraded. Source, which you are, always knows what software is needed, what download is necessary. It knows the integration. It knows so much more than this ever could. So getting out of the way is as simple as saying, I don't know what this means, and I don't need to know. You know, Source. So I surrender all of it to you. And as I'm breathing and not resisting and staying open, that too will be integrated. It's only the thing that needs to get in the way and think that it needs to be busy in the play, working on the play. The dreamscape has it all done. Do you go to a movie and watch that movie and run up to the screen in the cinema, in the theater, and start moving the characters around? Do you stand up in the middle of that 2-hour segment and yell at the screen? Get out of here! Move to the next scene. I don't like this one. That actress rubs me the wrong way. Of course you don't. There's just an acceptance that whatever's arising in that theater will pass. If there's something scary, you're watching a horror movie and you're tucking your head in, you're saying, I don't want to look. That too passes, right? It's doing itself. All of this. All of this. Do we have to have a spontaneous awakening? Do we have to combust? Do we need to have an out-of-body experience or go into a deep meditation? Do we need to listen to teachings? Do we need to read books? Do we need to? Do we need to? Do we need to? Is the mind constantly wanting to munch on data? But notice, if we just let the munching and the interest happen, that too goes away. And that which is to be known is already here. We have these synchronicities and these beautiful experiences, and we get so excited about them, but they're happening for us all the time. We just don't notice it when we're caught in our stories about how it should be other than it is, how it's arising, how it's showing up, what is coming out of their mouth, what we're arguing with in the moment. As I look out the window now, even talking to you all, you're probably noticing me doing this and this. I've got these beautiful windows that I stare out of all day, watching nature just do this ceaselessly, boundlessly. Fall upon us here in the United States and in the PNW. The leaves are turning yellow and red, and they're falling off the trees in harmony. Not in a desire for it to be different. Have you ever seen a tree reach down and try and restore its leaves? Does it even begin to bend towards the ground to reconnect with those leaves? Never. Never. What does it do? It's rising to the sunshine and diving into the soil beneath it. Always connected. Source coming through, soil coming up, all of it integrating in a perfect harmony. That which is no longer serving will fall away. And behind it are these little buds. We don't see them, but they're there. The tree knows new life, new expansion, new transmissions, new updates are always arising. Nature leads us to it. Do you need to know a doctrine, a religion? Is there a teaching you must follow? Do we need to try psychedelics? Do we need to go out and have out-of-body experiences? Do we need to have near-death experiences? No. No. That which is arising, as it's accepted just as it is, will integrate it will bring and restore everything that is needed so that every moment is a blessing to be grateful for. So I invite you guys, as I often do and always do, to get into nature. Be one with it. When I go into nature, I may record a video or play with my drone or have my phone out for a bit, but then I put it away. I turn it off. I immerse. This avatar just connects so deeply and so profoundly in that space. The slugs slugging, the ants anting, the trees treeing, the birds birding. I love it. I love it all. Recently I had an opportunity, and I've been doing this more, I was going to speak about this, an interest in interviewing others who have aspired to passions that are going out into the world and advocating beauty and harmony, but not in a way that says this is wrong, but in a way that says, let's look at it differently. And there's just this passion and fire zesting to understand what makes them tick. What happened in your experience to make that brain think that way and seek interest in that modality? All of these avatars coming into our experience, and we don't even take the time to sit down with the person and say, gosh, I want to understand what makes you you. Yes, I want to hear about your upgrade to your kitchen, or yes, I want to hear about how your children are doing, but God, I want to know what makes you tick. I want to know what makes your heart zest with gooiness. I want to know what makes your sadness deepen. Can I meet you there? These are the conversations I'm pulled to. I can sit and do the peopling and engage in that way, but there's just less interest in that. So those are the places I go less and less. Where I'm drawn to more and more is the cocoon of life, where a tree is happy to just be. That's where this seems to be gently nestled in the way that feels good here, even in the moments of suffering. Because it's no longer looked at or perceived as suffering, it's looked at and perceived as the dualistic experience leading to that which is its opposite. Why wouldn't I invite all of it in? It's a movement of energy, always shifting in my favor. So more and more is the intention of doing some of these interviews and sharing with you guys, simply because I think we all in our avatars get so much out of understanding what makes another tick. We're all beautiful, creative beings, beinged. It isn't about attempting to compare or outdo or become or repeat or mimic. Certainly those things may happen, but we're all like these delicate little snowflakes, and we're so beautiful in our own intricacies. Why wouldn't we not just step fully into that with the avatar and see it play out? You're perfect in your suffering and in your joy, in your attachment, into your clinging, into your resistance, into your beauty. All of it is perfect. All of it. All of you. All of you. every little bit. The one that's bald in bed crying. The one that's outside joyously exploring on a hike. The one that's holding the baby and giggling. The one that's in the hospital getting treatment. The one that's in grief because someone has been lost. Someone has transitioned. Someone has been removed from our life. All of it is delicious. All of it is welcome. Contrast, duality, all of it's part of the blended experience, and all of it's to be known. The less we cling, the less we attach, the less we resist, the less we push, the more we allow the flow to just be what it is. What you are. You're not the navigator. You're not the rower. You're none of that. You never have been. I hope this helps, because honestly, these arise and then the cocooning happens. And this is why Nurture Your Soul will ramp up and seem engaging and then disappear and then ramp up in the flow, in the cocoon. Downloads happening, all the integration taking place. It's beautifully orchestrated when we get out of the way. It's about getting out of the way of the story. So what's coming on Nurture Your Soul? More interviews. Lives. We're still working on getting all of those interconnected. Bear with us. I was hoping to do the first one this morning, but we're still having connection issues, and I didn't want it to be bumpy and yucky for everyone. So stay tuned. YouTube, Facebook, all of it will be connected, so no audience is missing out. Opportunities for questions and answers. One-on-one counseling sessions here, if that's something that interests you. Those are still opportunities. But now, soon, we'll be able to do group readings. We'll be able to offer these lives globally where people can dial in and connect. Real-time Q&A, real-time psychic or mediumship or whatever you want to call it, opportunities. The light's starting to change in here. It's coming in. It's beautiful. I don't know if you guys can see the sun back there. Ah, crisp fall days. I love them. They're my favorite. Sunshine. Grayness. Rain. Snow. All my favorites. The gray rainy days where we stay in our sweats. They're all perfect. It's all perfect. So I hope you stay tuned. If you're not a follower, feel free to like and subscribe so that you get notified when these are posted. I'm not attached to that. That's not why I do this. But I do think that because I do seem to show up and then disappear, a lot of people don't get notifications when the new stuff comes in. So I leave that with you. I have no attachment to an outcome there. This isn't why I share. The passion that's coming through, the energy of it is just beautifully arising. When it is, it's shared. And when it's not, that's okay too. Much love. Until next time, I hope this lands right in your heart centers. I have this beautiful little gift that was given to me. And often when I'm in my client readings and one-on-ones, I hold it. Right now, I'm holding each of you. If you're hurting and you're watching this, I'm sending so much love to you. Genuinely, sincerely. I see you. I feel you. I get it. I get that sometimes it just feels like too much. If it's too people-y out there, or there's too much energy, or you feel disconnected, or you feel like you're less than, those things are okay. I see you. I love you. Till next time. Much love. Hi, sweetheart. Hi, my love bug.